My name is Janic, and I love to color. I sound like I'm part of a support group all of a sudden. Yes, I'm a grown-ass woman who loves to color. Creativity is my top core value, and coloring naturally fits into many aspects of my life. You might think that spending hours of coloring is only a childhood pastime. My goal is to change your mind by the end of this PechaKucha presentation. You will find markers, pencil crayons, and colored pens all over my home. So much so I've incorporated my colorful writing utensils into the design of two home gallery walls, my two home workspaces. Why do I have two home workspaces? That's an entirely different PechaKucha presentation. Color has always played a big role in my personal life, and now it defines which type of professional leader I am and aim to be. I'm going to share with you how coloring can be a great tool for bringing out the creative leadership potential in all of us. Coloring has become a really popular activity since the mid 2000s, so much so that sales increased from 1 million in 2014 to 12 million in 2015. I often joke with people that I've been coloring since my mother was pregnant with me. My dad used to buy stacks of coloring books for her during both of her pregnancies with myself and my sister because she just couldn't get enough of it. To this day, my mom, my sister, and I all have our own sets of coloring books, crayons, and markers, all of which are well loved and very well used. I guess I can say that my passion for putting a pencil crayon to paper started through osmosis. Coloring to me elicits a relaxing mindset and is considered a form of active meditation. This activity allows me to switch my brain off from all my to-do lists and focus on the task at hand. For me, it's a sense of calming creative accomplishment. And God, it just feels so good when I finish that coloring page. I'm sure you figured out as well that I love hummingbirds. So much so that I did a PechaKucha presentation on why I love hummingbirds a couple of years ago. I do love hummingbirds because they force us to pause, to kind of be in the moment, just like coloring does. So through the work that I do with Ripple Effect Leadership, I create workshops and resources for organizations that focuses on both personal leadership and creative leadership. And I've been advocating for a long time that incorporating coloring or any other kind of creative activity into the workplace really does promote team building. You could have a coloring contest between employees, or you can just pass around a coloring sheet during a meeting for employees to add color to, creating one unified coloring masterpiece. Of course, once we're done in the pandemic. No sharing of coloring utensils in the meantime. Coloring helps increase focus and concentration because you're dedicated to completing a specific design. Actually, people who fidget find that coloring helps with concentration during group discussions or team meetings. And research also tells us that coloring helps decrease stress and is good for our overall health. Incorporating a break midday to color allows people to de-stress and reduces anxiety. This process of repetition and attention to patterns and details associated with coloring also calms our heart rate. And one other benefit is that it sparks creativity. I think it's really easy for us to get bogged down by the day-to-day tasks when our creativity kind of gets forced aside, whereas coloring helps with overcoming creative blocks and can lead to new ideas and projects. When people are more creative in their life and work, they will produce more original ideas. And sometimes you just need a quick de-stressing activity after a long day at work or after a long day of video meetings or just need a break from the pandemic. On those days, I like to reach for coloring sheets like these that have a little extra inspiration and motivation and just make you laugh as well. I mentioned earlier that coloring helps with focus. I like coloring as a creative outlet because it requires me to focus, but not in a stressful way. I've worked for many brain-related organizations in my 20-year career, and I know and I've learned that the frontal lobe controls organizing and problem solving. Coloring helps to open and awaken this part of our brain and allows us to put everything else aside and live in the moment, generating that focus. Coloring also can relax the fear center of our brains thanks to the amygdala. That's a great word. It induces the same state as meditating by reducing the thoughts of a restless mind. I just want to remind people that we don't have to be an expert artist to color. If you're looking for any kind of way to unwind after a stressful day, coloring will surely do the trick. So find something that you like, that you gravitate towards, color it however you like. Try not to think too much about what colors you're choosing. Just don't worry about staying in the lines, just color, just enjoy the process. Now, I am a little bit picky when it comes to the style and design of which adult coloring books I gravitate to. It's very rare that I'll use a coloring sheet that is super, super detailed. That would stress me out. But, like these are true adult coloring sheets as I'm showing you right now. So, after a bad breakup or a bad day at work or something really annoying that's happening in your life, if you really want to de-stress, go for these types of sheets. They are quite funny and you will definitely laugh. So regardless of your own style, your sense of humor, or your creative process, there are many unique coloring books out there. And I encourage you to find your own style that you like that won't cause you extra stress. You name it, there's a coloring book for it. And there's a version of it somewhere out there, whether it's the type of animals you like, the hobbies you love, the industry that you work in, you'll find it. And if coloring isn't your thing, consider doodling. Doodling fires up the brain's executive resources, which allows us to multitask and concentrate and plan. So the next time you see somebody doodling during a meeting or a class or a conference, they are more than likely paying attention and concentrating on what's being said during the meeting. I'm personally really fascinated by how people color and their creative process. I will personally physically rip out a page of a coloring book, put it on a clipboard, and color from there. My mom will start a coloring book on the very first page and do it in complete order. And my sister will choose one color, sprinkle it all over the page, take a different color, and sprinkle the rest all over the page, similar to my process. But this coloring sheet, which you can see also here on my wall, is my favorite because it has a lot of meaning to me. 5 years ago, when my father was in hospice, I was coloring this exact sheet, and I was only halfway through when we realized he was in the process of passing. And it took me a few months to go back and finish it, but I'm glad I did because it really reminds me of my dad and it puts a smile on my face. So you still think that coloring, doodling, or incorporating some kind of creative activity into your life or within your organization is counterproductive or anti-intellectual? Hopefully I've convinced you otherwise. Consider using it as a creative and mindful tool in your life, and maybe you'll also fall in love with coloring. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Janic.